Hi, I'm Nanki Chopra. I'm here joined by the HR director at Moss Adams. Hi ma'am.
Hi.
How are you enjoying the campus here at TAPMI Bangalore?
It's wonderful. I just had a aha moment as I came on the buggy. I studied in TAPMI myself, as you may be aware, but that was TAPMI Manipal. So it's always a pleasure to come and see the campus that you studied at grow from strength to strength.
Any fond memories that have rekindled on seeing so many, students and your friends?
I wish I met my friends. TAPMI always brings back a sense of purpose, a sense of fun, a sense of work. I do credit TAPMI for giving me a great foundation, become what I have today. Not that it's super successful, but really to get me started on that journey. We have fond memories of making fun of the professors in class or, doing some shenanigans, which we got into trouble for. But all in all, it's a very positive and it's a very happy, nostalgic experience.
How is HR evolving to meet the future trends in business consultancy?
I often tell people that, we need to stop referring to HR as a different function. Most of the firms today, we are in the business of people and HR enables people. So the function of HR is evolving, I would say, by becoming a facilitator, an enabler of people. Given the technological and the advancements today, it's becoming that enabler is what I would say.
Which leads me to my next question. In fact, it is a taboo that most freshers are told that HR is a women-led function. What are your thoughts on that?
It couldn't be more further from the truth. There is no function today in the world that is very gender specific. I think you get great talent anywhere. I think we need to stop defining roles by way of gender. Your capability and your skills matters, not your gender.
That couldn't be further from the truth. I also wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on inclusivity in HR? How are HR professionals, bringing in that trend?
So I think we need to stop referring to inclusion, diversity and equity as an HR topic. It's a topic which is all encompassing. It's a business imperative. HR is still an enabler and HR holds the firm accountable. HR has the metric and is the conscience keeper of the firm, right? And I think that in itself breeds inclusivity, taking in different diverse perspectives and making sure that there is an alignment to the strategic goals of the firm.
It is a tough decision to lay off employees. How exactly do you manage or cope with such a practice?
I think one thing we should all realize is hiring and firing are two sides of the same coin, right? If you're going to hire people, for their skill sets and for what they bring to the table, then eventually when the win-win situation doesn't happen, you're going to have to let some people go, whether it's for performance reasons, whether it's for business reasons, whether business is not doing well. Ultimately, all of us have to realize that we are in corporate world or corporate India in jobs to bring success or to bring profit to the firm. So if business imperatives are not being met, whether it's HR, whether it's any other function, marketing, sales, etc., the whole core of it is that it should make sense as a business imperative. So for me, obviously I look at it as in terms of the side of the same coin. So I think it's important to look at it from a perspective of doing it with respect, making sure that people feel like it is not something that they did, but rather that the need of the firm. The best experience that one can offer is empathy to the affected individual. If that is done, I think we've done our job as human resources professionals.
This leads me to my last question. Would you like to share to the viewers any interesting story you might have from your college days at TAPMI?
Well, yes, in TAPMI, that time the girls' hostel was in the MIT campus, and in the second year, we ran out of space. So we were 8 girls who were told to, who were given a house and said, you can stay in this house.
Wow.
And while my other classmates thought this was not a good idea, 8 of us very entrepreneurially decided to jump at it. A house meant a lot of interesting things. We had interesting things that we did, hosted parties in the house within the timelines, of course, within the time frame and curfew given to us. But I think it was a wonderful experience. The interesting part was one of the reasons the rest of my classmates didn't want to move because it was rumored that the house was haunted. So a lot of my batchmates would tease us saying that they saw all of us 8 women and the ghosts decided to run away from that place. So that is a fond memory for me, and so it was very nice to talk about our experiences when we were back in town.
What else are you liking about this campus? Have you taken a tour yet?
I haven't taken a tour except that we went through the buggy. Ananya just brought me in, but it's beautiful because it's majestic.
You must take a whole look of it.
Yes.
I think you really like
It reminds me of a version of Manipal as a town, because if some of you have been to Manipal, or the viewers have been to Manipal, you'll see that the whole town is a student town. So I find it to be a more newer and upcoming version of what we have from TAPMI Manipal.
Do you see any major differences between the undergrad students and the postgraduate students? students at TAPME?
I haven't had a chance to interact with a lot of them, but I've always believed in the quality of education that TAPME provides. And from the year that I have graduated, which was 2006, I've hired every single year from TAPME.
Wow.
So I think that shows the commitment that I have as an alum to really give back to the alma mater, which really set me up for success for life.
That's beautiful. I was really insightful, but I'm afraid that's all the time we have for today.
Sure.
It was lovely talking to you, Ms. Prabhu.